Well, howdy there. Let me see. Check on my speaker. Let's make sure that we're working okay. Test the speaker. Okay, I would say we're good to go here. All right, so we're recording. I'm Joan Turner. I am Joan Turner of JonesArtGallery.com. Also, I have IntuitiveBodyAndSoul.com, which is my energy work, and sometimes I do lots of energy work with my artwork and all kinds of cool things. Okay, today we are going to do something similar to this, and I say similar because every time I do something, they never come out twice the same way, which actually is a good thing. You don't want to have the same things over and over again. So for this particular picture is called a dotted mandala, okay? Because we use dots to create it. This is a canvas panel. It's very, very thin. Okay, you can use a canvas panel or you can use a stretched canvas, which is thicker. Okay, and stretched canvas because the canvas is stretched over a wooden frame and then stapled on the back. Okay. So you will need one of these. If you're using an art pack that you got from DCOA, which is Reiki Council on Aging, you already have one of these or two of these. But you can actually dot on these. You can dot, people have dotted on wood. Anything that will stand up to the paint. Kind of paint we're using is called acrylic paint, which means that if it gets on your clothes or it dries in your brushes, it becomes permanent. Usually you can get it out if it's wet, but I would say, you know, wear paint clothes certainly. So you will need to have your paint clothes on. I have a very, very messy and very painted on table. Let me see. This is what it looks like underneath. So I thought you might be able to see it better if I kind of used a white surface. And I have been painting, so I already have some stuff around here, but we're gonna go ahead and let you know that you do need a brush, okay, because we're gonna paint a background. For this particular mandala, you're going to need red, white, blue, some mustardy yellow color or like a federal gold, and some green. Okay, so we have all of that. I have actually some purple out here as well, but I have yellow, red. Okay, we're gonna need blue. This is kind of a deep turquoise. So I think I'm gonna go in search of a blue, bluish, more blue. All right, let's see what we got here, Joan. All right, this is a Prussian blue, right, which is pretty dark, but once you add some white to it, you can get a nice powdery blue color out of it. It's absolutely awesome. Okay, so we have that, and I do have some pink out because it's pink in the picture, but I was using this pink, and it's upside down because it's almost empty, so I wanted it to kind of go to the bottom. But in the picture that I was just using it for, once it dries out, it gets like a skin on it. So I'm going to say, instead of using the pink, why don't we make our own pink by mixing red and white together? Okay, you will need water for your brushes. You will need your favorite beverage, which might be a bottle of Cabernet. No, did I say bottle? I meant a glass of Cabernet. Or if you have a favorite like peach tea or hot cocoa, all right, I must have my hot cocoa one a day, whether I need it or not. So grab your paints. You're going to need, again, water dishes to clean your brushes. Cover tables and floors, all right, if you're painting like on your kitchen table. Cover the floor area too, because you know when you're very focused on what you're doing, you can splatter paint very easily. Also, where you paint clothes, all right, if you don't have paint clothes, wear a smock. Old clothes, things that you don't mind getting paint on, all right. The other thing that you're going to need is dotting tools, right? These can be had at most stores, definitely Amazon, wish.com, and they come in many different sizes and colors. If in fact you do not have dotting tools and you don't want to wait to go out and get dotting tools, you can use things around your home, okay? I've used the top of this cover. This is the top of a nail polish, bottle of nail polish. This is one of my favorites, which is a, oh wait, am I out of, okay. This, let me start over, all right? This is just a typical prescription bottle, but I've dipped the top of this. We're looking for anything kind of round and flat. Pencils, okay? The eraser part makes a nice flat circle. The pointed part makes lots of little dots. Again, top of the nail polish bottle. I wasn't sure I had that in frame. This is one of my favorites. It's a dropper. And if you dip that in the paint and very lightly tap on this, you'll end up with small dots. If in fact you take this and you push harder, you will end up with bigger dots, okay? So you can have lots of, you can use anything that has a flat surface to it, including cups. These are obviously will make lots of very cool rings and whatnot. So anything that you find around your house that you would like to use, you can use that. And you're going to find that you end up being a dotting expert. There's so many dots that go on to these designs that you can't help but get better at it, like really, really fast. Okay, so you need a brush, certainly, right? This brush is a square head, but it's also angled. It's an angled square head, right? Because you can get some really good coverage with the flat side of the brush. You can get some detail coverage with the point of the brush, which we're not really going to need here. But we do want a good sized brush to just to kind of get some decent coverage. Now, well, let's start by putting some colors out on the palette. And this is pretty much a very light purpley color. It has a lot of different colors in it. And I'm going to say to you, I'm doing white and purple here. And I'm going to say to you that no matter what colors you use, okay, it's definitely, you want it to kind of be your own. When you're doing a dotted mandala like this, you're pretty sure that you're going to, oops, I have some blue in here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the blue. But whenever you do a mandala, unless you're a machine, you're probably going to make some mistakes here. Right? So the easiest backgrounds to actually fix if you make a mistake is a solid background. But because the mandala that we're working on today has some different colors in it, let's go ahead and show you how to do that. Okay. So what I've done is kind of put down a basic color, which was white and purple. Okay, so we're going to put that there. And this has a really bluish look to it because I also had some blue on my brush. Okay, and you'll notice that I'm doing the edges. All right, doing the edge work on a canvas gives you the opportunity to frame or not frame. Okay, once the picture is finished, you may decide that you want to hang it, or if you're giving it as a gift, right? So some people like to frame their work. Some artists think that unless the frame is exactly right, it can take away from some of their work. Okay, so continuing the paint on the sides of your canvas means that you can display it without a frame if you so desire. Okay, so now I'm putting a little bit of white on here and kind of mixing it around. Again, I would like a kind of variegated background here. Okay, I'm going to add just a teensy bit of red, and I am just using the tip. Okay, so that's going to make it more purpley, because when you mix red and blue, you get purple. See? Okay, so I'm kind of wanting to keep that kind of purpley color going on over here, and add a little bit more white to it, just to kind of, give it a little bit of a cloudy look. Does yours have to look like this? Absolutely not. You may look at it and say, I don't want mine to look like that, which is absolutely okay. Okay, you are the creator, and we want your piece to reflect you. Okay, so I'm kind of liking that background. I'm maybe going to leave it like that. Right, so if I'm moving too quickly for you, which, some students say, yeah, you're doing it too fast. We're not used to it. We can't do it that fast. Then absolutely stop the recording. Okay, stop the recording and catch up. Okay, so I like that background. I'm going to kind of leave it that way. I'm going to put my dirty brush in the water because, again, if the paint dries inside the brush, you will not be able to use it. You might be able to use it for dotting because it's going to be pretty hard, but you will not be able to use it for painting. Okay, so I actually started a different one and was letting it dry while I was showing you how to do this. So I am going to go get it. All right, if you need to let yours dry, once again, stop the recording and let it dry. Now, let me tell you that acrylic paints dry relatively fast. So if you do need to wait for it to dry, probably between 5 and 10 minutes, depending on if you have a lot of humidity in your house. Okay, but I had one under the fan drying already. So I'm going to go get it. And I'm going to let this one dry. And I'm going to go get the one that was drying under the fan. Okay, let me back in here. There we go. Ta-da. All right, so this is the one that was drying as we were doing our thing. Okay, so now we're going to need a ruler. A ruler. I know I had. Oh, ta-da! Okay, a ruler. I am using an 8 by 10 canvas, right? You can use any size canvas or canvas board that you want. Some people dot on wood or any really like hard surface that will hold the paint and handle the paint is absolutely fine. Okay, so with this, we want to. Some people just kind of go rogue, they paint the background of the canvas and then they start dotting like crazy. And sometimes they come out really, really nice. So I'm definitely, open to that. But we're going to kind of do a step-by-step here for those who kind of want a certain outcome. Okay, so I would say follow along. And if you really, think it's too confining for artwork, you want something that's a little more free-flowing, then do another one and don't put any guidelines. Okay, remember that you are the creator here. Okay, you're the person who is doing all this really cool stuff. Okay, so I am going, you can use a pencil, certainly you can use a pencil to put on guidelines. I did have a watercolor pencil here somewhere, which is not here now. So we will use a regular pencil. Okay. Watercolor, the advantage to using a watercolor pencil is that it erases with water. So that if I put a bunch of guidelines on here and some of them are kind of left over or you can see them afterwards, then when it's completely dry, you can just take a wet cloth and just clean it right off of there. Okay, so let me take a quick look and see if I can find my pencil. I could not. However, I did find another one, or did go get another one. Okay, so again, you know, it would be my first preference, but you certainly can use a regular pencil. I'm going to use this one because I think it will be more visible for you. So I'm going to put that there, right? I am going to, again, this is an 8 by 10. I'm going to mark off an 8-inch area, I think, so that I have a square. Right, so here's an inch here, there's an inch here. I can sort of see it. All right, if in fact you don't have a watercolor pencil, you can certainly use a white charcoal or just a piece of chalk. A piece of chalk would work as well. Okay, so now, what I said, I thought you'd be able to see this. I'm not so sure that you can. Let's try a regular pencil. That'll no work neither. I can see it clearly here, but on camera, we want something you can see. So we're going to try the white chalk pencil here. Let's see if you can see that. Ah, mucho better. Can you see that? It's right there. And actually all I did was go in an inch over here, only because, again, this is an 8 by 10, and I would like to just rule off an 8 by 8 area, okay? So this whole area in here is 8 by 8, and it's going to be a little bit easier to work this design in the 8 by 8 area, which doesn't mean we won't do the edges. We certainly will, okay? But just to make it a little bit easier for ourselves. So now that I know I have 8 inches here, at least I thought I did, Joan. Okay, over here and here. Okay, so let's go right in the middle. Okay, so obviously the middle of 8 is 4. Right, and so now I'm going to make a line right through the center. So that this is 8 inches from here to here. So half of 8 is 4. I put a line right there. Okay. Now I'm going to put another line right here. Okay, so I have 8 inches here. Okay, so actually 4 would be here. So let's kind of take this one off. I didn't mean to do it. All right, so my 4 is right here. Okay. All right, so now I have a nice area here. Okay, so now I want to give myself more guidelines. I'm going to put a line right through this and right through this, and still working within my 8 by 8 area. So I'm going to go from corner to corner, okay, which is right here. Let's see if we can see that a little bit better. Corner to corner, and we're going to go right through our center. See it? Can you see it? Okay, so now let's do the other side. Corner to corner, and make sure we're going right through that center. Let's get this a little bit better. Okay, here's our center right here. So we have a cross going this way, then an X going this way. Okay, So this gives us a good, this gives us a nice work area to work on, a nice even work area. Okay, so now I am going to take something see-through, like a cup, and let me see here, because you can't see through it too well. Let's just see if it's relatively circular here. We want it to be nice. Okay, so I'm using a, this is actually a 16-ounce cup. Let me darken some of this. There is a lot of paint on this canvas. Okay, so we're going to get it as even as we can, certainly. So I am definitely playing around here a little bit. Okay, so now we have a circle, and our center is right here. All right, you might want to go a little bit smaller. This is a shot glass from the dollar store. Okay, and I can see through the middle of this, so that makes it a little bit easier for me. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. All right, and you could use a prescription bottle. Okay, a prescription bottle you can see through, and it has a dot like this does, so that you can line up. You can line up what you have there. Okay, let's. Okay, I'm still playing around with this outer circle, which I'm determined to get right. All right, so that's looking good to me. Let's take this part off. Ta-da! Okay, let's get this here. All right, can you see it? I like to play music while I'm doing artwork, and people actually prefer that to my singing most of the time. But when I'm recording videos, and maybe this is a good time to make sure we're recording. Oh, we are good. Good time to check. Well, doing videos with music in the background, sometimes it's disruptive and people can't hear me, and so I leave it off. But I definitely would say listen to some music. You can't listen to music that you love and not be happy. It just elevates you on all levels. So if COVID is bringing you down at all, listen to some music, my darlings. You will love it. Okay, so this is what they have. You can see that pretty good. Okay. All right, so I'm thinking, do I want another outer ring? I actually do. So what do I want to do? That. Okay, oh yeah, I should stick to this. I get very inventive as I go along. Okay, so this ring is this one, this ring is that one, and we can have these doing this out here, so that'll work. So maybe we just need one more little one in here. So maybe you could take the bottom and do it that way. That could work. And again, I can see through this. If you have something that you can't see through, you could actually just measure and give yourself some guidelines that way. Okay. I'm going to go a little heavier here so that you can see it, so that I can see it. All right. So obviously, when you're doing your own, you have to be able to see them, but you won't have to make them quite this dark, okay? But for the sake of the tape, you want to make it a little darker. All right, so we're excited and ready to have a lock in there. Let's see if I can get it up. I can get it out at the expense of my my background. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll put a dot right there. That'll work. Okay. It has a lot of sparkles on it. God only knows. This room has lots of sparkles and things going on. Oh, I know where it came from. Here, I must have had sparkles in here. That's okay. All right. So take a look. Take a look at your guidelines. Make sure everything is copacetic here. I'm going to go a little deeper here. So make sure everything's the way I like it. So I'm going to start with a middle dot. And the middle dot in here is kind of a vibrant pink. Now you'll notice that there's a lot of over dotting going on here. So we over dot once the under dots are dry. Okay, and I don't know if you can see it, there's some sparkle on here. Now sparkle is totally at your discretion. They look equally as beautiful with and without. And all I used for those is you can use a little bit of glue. You could use a little bit of glue on these spots and then just sprinkle loose sparkle on it. Or you can use sparkle glue, sparkle anything, okay, whatever you like. Nail polish, I've used nail polish on these. So without further ado, us go on. And I actually, if I didn't already tell you this, the table underneath has a lot of paint on it. I thought it might be easier to see if I used this background. So I'm actually going to move these pencils out of the way. Okay. And again, you know, some basic tools. And if you do not have the basic tools, worry not and use what you do have. Okay, and these are pretty much nail dotting kits. And someone said, gee, this would be really cool to do some artwork with. Thus was born. Okay, so these are more dotting tools. And again, you can use absolutely anything. You can wait for your dotting tools to arrive. Okay, we're gonna use them here for those of us who have them. And if, ta-da, I found my other pencil. Ta-da, let's put it over here so I don't lose it yet again. And more sparkles. Okay, right, so I think I'm going to use another plate. Now I'm using plates as palettes. You can use a real palette certainly, but if you don't have one, don't let it stop you. You can use whatever you want, whatever your heart desires, kids. Okay? So if you have color-coded dotting tools, I believe the green one is biggest. So I'm going to use a small brush to actually mix. Hopefully you have some paper towels nearby. If you don't, go ahead and run and grab some. Okay. So I am going to take some of this red that I have, and again, I'm trying to make kind of a vibrant pink out of it. So I'm going to take a little bit of white. Usually I go the other way. Usually I'll start with the white and then add the red to it slowly. But this, I already know that I want it mostly red. Now red and white, when you add them together, you end up with pink, okay? So I am going to mix a pink, but again, I like it to be rather vibrant. Okay, so I'm going to mix, and you can see I'm pulling it towards the middle, right? Some people, when they mix, they end up getting it all over their palette, and then they're like, oh, I won't dip, my tool won't dip in the, it won't get enough paint on it. So we want to avoid that, and the way that we do that is to leave the paint right in the middle. Then we stop and we have some hot cocoa. Okay, I'm going to take my biggest tool. Okay, if you don't have a biggest tool, use the bottom of a cup. You can use one of these. You can use, this is the top of a chapstick container. Okay, I'm actually going to use this, and I'm going to put it straight down. And when I pick it up, the whole bottom should be covered, no matter what you're using. Okay, and then right in the middle, or as close to the middle as I can get, voila! Da, 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 da. Okay, right now, if I look at what I have over there, I have a bunch of little pink ones going around it. It's all stuff on it. Okay, don't let the paint dry on your tools. I'm gonna put it in the water and then just kind of dry it off here. Okay, so we don't want the ends to dry with paint on them, or else when you go to use them, you're not going to be able to get a nice flat circle. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit smaller here and do the outside ring. Okay, so check and see which one do I like. I'm going to go even smaller. So I have two pinks, all right, and they're probably from different companies, but we're looking for one about the size of a pencil eraser. Okay, so you can use a pencil eraser. Now, when you're doing your dotting, okay, the best way to get them evenly spaced, all right, is to start on the lines. It's one here. So we have one on the west, one on the east, north, south. Okay, those are pretty evenly spaced. All right, so now I can work inside them, and I am going to try to fit two. One, two. So the idea is to get them as close as possible without touching each other, which can be an issue. Okay, so nice even spacing is a goal. Okay, so this is what I ended up with, right? So nice and even. Okay, north, south, west, east. All right. So I'm going to put this in the water and clean it off. Okay, and I think I have a little bit of this too close here. So I'm going to just take, this is a very small tool, and what I did is I just went in between those two dots. So absolutely, you can kind of make some corrections as you go along. Okay, on this outside rim here, okay, so we have this big one here. We have these outer dots here. So we have yellow in the middle, but I think let's go ahead and put these little dots around here. Okay, so this tool, I'm going to use kind of, it's a dotting tool, nail dotting tool. It looks like this, and you could use a pencil, all right, a pencil point. And if you need to, you can even kind of flatten it out a little bit, okay, so that you get a nice flat area there. So what I'm going to do is go right around this inside with the same color. And again, I'm going to do the points on the Okay, so we have 4 here, okay, like points on a compass. Okay, and then I'm going to do in between them. Okay, beauteous, beauteous. Now I have enough room to go in between them still. Okay, if you have paint building up on your dotting tool, just clean it off. Okay. Okay. If in fact I'm going too quickly for you, stop the video and catch up. All right. Don't rush. You will actually get very good at this very quickly because there are so many dots that go on here that you can't help but get good at it. But if you rush it, absolutely you won't get what you like. So don't rush it. If you need to, stop the video. Okay, so now we have an inner circle. Okay, I'm going to flatten this out just a tad here, just because I know I want to top dot it eventually. All right, so don't let the paint dry on there. I'm going to switch from cocoa to peach tea. I do so much talking. I make my mouth dry, which is okay for me. I don't know about everyone else, but I have a student who comes in for private lessons, and so we're doing a step-by-step together. And I'm like, this is, I put this and I do that and I mix this and blah, blah, blah. And she said to me, Joni, she says, you're talking to me like you're doing a video. So I looked at her and I said, yeah, you're right, I am. I'm so sorry. So, you know, I do so many of these that it definitely can become a habit. So be patient, okay? All right, so we have this dot, we have the little dots, we have the bigger dots around it, and then we have even bigger going here, and they're still pink. I'm going to go bigger. Typically, when you're doing a mandala, things get bigger as they come out from the center, and it's almost like it grows at you. So it's like it expands and grows, okay? Is that a steadfast rule? Nope, it's just something that I noticed that when we start out small and then we kind of get bigger, you know, we have these big dots. And of course, we have a lot of little dots adorning them and around them, okay? But typically, we go small and we start getting bigger as we come out. So now I'm going to use, this is like a pencil eraser, a big pencil eraser. Okay, so we have at the middle, we have the little dots, and we have these. Now we want to go big dots around this outer circle. Okay, and again, all these sparkles looks really pretty, but okay. So we're going to start north, south, east, west, right? Or west, east. Okay, so that we can get them nice and even. Okay, so it's this outside circle right here. And again, make sure you have nice even coverage going on here. I'm going to sit myself down. Okay, and okay, I have one in the west, one in the east. So we're going side to side, and I am on that outside circle. Okay, see that dot, right? That just means I didn't have enough paint on the tool. So I supplied it and then just redotted it, okay? All right, and like I say, doing them this way, right, you'll be able to space them better. So now, if I put one in the middle of this, am I going to be able to fit another one on either side? Probably. Okay, so I'm going to okay, on the outside edge. Okay, and continue working that outside edge. Okay, and even though this is exactly on my guideline, look across from what you're doing, okay, so that they line up. Your eye wants them to line up. Okay. So now I want to put, I don't know if I can get 2 in there, but I can do at least 1. So I'm going to do 1 in between them. See it? See it, my darlings? Okay. All right, and if your dotting tool is not making really round dots, clean it off. Clean off the tip. Okay. Okay, and I think I need 1 more right here. Ta-da! Ta-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, cleaning off the tip in the water and cleaning the paint off of the tool. Again, and I know I repeat myself, you don't have to try and memorize anything because I say it enough. The students, especially the young ones, Miss Joe, we know. And I say, I know, you don't have to memorize anything because I will continue to tell you what you need to know. Okay, so we have our inside, we have our small dots, we have this, and believe it or not, there's another row of pink dots out here. This one we want to be kind of bigger, okay? Maybe not as big as that middle one. Let's see what we did here. Oh yeah, we definitely went with the yellow. Okay, so the yellow, if you have one of these stopper daughters, these work excellent, okay? So for the yellow, I'm going to use that one, okay? So again, I'm going to move some of this paint in the inside here, make sure you have good coverage, and I'm going to do my outside dots. Remember to follow the rule of doing the 4 dots first, because see how that really lines them up well. Okay, so let's do this one here. Okay, and turn your canvas around. Your hand actually has a very small comfort zone. And I do notice that some people are able to kind of do this, and I've done that myself, but it's good to leave your hand in its comfort zone as well. Okay, so I am going to, now that I have those outside dots, I'm going to go ahead and do some dots in between them. See it? Here it is. It's exciting when work starts to come together and you can kind of see, you know, where it's going, what it's doing. It's very exciting. I am the resident art teacher at the Drake Council on Aging. Drake Council on Aging is a marvelous place and a good resource for, you know, our seniors. I have something showing up on my screen here, so I'm just going to kind of get rid of it. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I know that you can't see it, but I can see it, so just going to get rid of it. Cleaning off my tool. So the director at the Drake Council on Aging is a very awesomely wonderful Bethany Lovelace, and she had approached me a couple of months ago, and she's like, you know, will you create some tutorials that our seniors can kind of follow along online, and we really give them a focus, especially during like the COVID pandemic and cool stuff like that. And so and we did. I think this is my 8th tutorial, my 8th. We've done some fun and paints, dancing dolphins. We've done harvest moon. We've done a lot of fun and paints, rock painting. And I think this is the 3rd mandala. So she's made them all possible, all available. We've put them on DATV so everyone can see them. And we've since started sharing them with absolutely everyone, okay? So if you want to see more, you can get on my YouTube channel, but if you have any questions, Jonissa at Comcast.net. So it's JOAN as in Nancy, IS as in Stephen, A at Comcast.net. Right? You can also send me an email at the intuitive, not the, leave the word the out, intuitive body and soul at gmail.com. That will reach me as well. I have a Facebook page, a meetup page, and a website. So absolutely, you know, get in touch if you want to see more tutorials. But better yet, when the center reopens, and we do not have a reopen date as of yet, as far as I know, but you can absolutely find out by calling the center. But when the center does open, we do a year-round art class every Wednesday, noon to 2. Okay, we do. And the students there are working on whatever they want to. It's a very open class. They bring their own supplies. Some of them are working in oils, some in acrylics, some watercolors, ink and pen and ink type thing. So absolutely very open, okay? And we do that every Wednesday, year round, with a juried show, typically in November. And students there have won lots of ribbons, They're very, and they're all at different levels. So don't feel like, oh my God, I'm just a beginner. Because we all were. Everyone was a beginner at some point. In addition to year-round art classes, once a month, I do a fun and paint. And that fun and paint, you can you wear art clothes. I supply everything else, easels and canvases and paints and brushes, okay? And so we do that once a month there. So we're having lots of fun doing it this way, but I expect to see everyone in person when the center opens up, okay? So we can do more, all right? So, okay, enough selling and pushing and all that good stuff. We wanna get back to our mandala a little bit. I wanted to let it kind of dry out a little. Once these are dry out, we can actually double dot over them. Okay, before we do that, okay, I wanna say we're right about here, okay? Right about here, that makes it a little bit better. Okay, so again, these are all double dotted, but underneath here, we have big blue dots. Let's put those babies in. Okay, so big blue dots. I have many different color blues. Okay, this is a deep turquoise, and this is a Prussian blue. Prussian blue, when you mix it with white, we get a really nice powdery blue, which actually adds a lot. Sorry, I have to remind myself to stay in frame here. Okay, so for right now, we want these dark blue dots, and then they're over dotted with green, but again, we want to let that dry first. All right, so let's do the big blue dots first. So decide on your blue, this one or this one. I think I'm gonna go with turquoise. All right, and turquoise can be a green turquoise or it can be a blue turquoise. This obviously is a blue turquoise, okay? My tendency is to put, try not to put too much paint on the palette, only because it has a tendency to dry out really fast. So I'd much rather add more paint to it than try to use dried up paint. Okay, so this blue dot is going to be a big one. And again, our biggest is the green tool. Okay, the green tool is like this. Okay, this is a cap to a chapstick holder. Okay, but those are the same size in there, right? So I'm going to use this blue, blue, and I am going to put it, let me clear my deck here just a little bit. Okay, stay over there, you guys. Right, so on this, I'm going to put them right on the lines, I believe. See, this one, the lines are no longer with us, but here. So that's probably what I did. Okay, remember when you're dipping your tool into the paint, we want it nice and even. Okay, and I'm going to go right on this line, right here. Ta-da! Right. Okay, so before I continue on, let's do the four corner thing here. Right. Kind of just went on the lines, but let's go ahead and do the four right here. Then we can go ahead and do in between them. I jumped the gun just a little, which I have been known to do. Okay, looks good. I should have made it a little bit further away. Okay, that looks awesomely good to me. I am going to clean this off, swish it around in the water, clean off the edge of your tool, no matter what you are using. You do not want the paint to dry on that tool, okay? So now we have these little green little green things going around. We do want to put green inside the blue as well, but we're going to let that dry a bit first. Okay, so let's go to the green. Green, green, green. Where are you? I'm so sure I had green out. Okay, so I have so many paints over here. Oh, there it is, way over there. What are you doing over there? Okay, so this green is permanent green deep, or deep green, right, which is fine, or you can use a meridian hue, which is a little bit more bluish. Okay, could do that. This is one of my favorites, called Hooker's Green. All right, and it just is like green with a little bit of yellow in it. Okay, so that's the Hooker's Green, and this is deep green. And also, this is Amsterdam paint. These are Premier paints. They're just different brands, and they're all about the same quality, but because they're different brands, you might get a Hooker's Green in Amsterdam that is slightly different in value. So if in fact you have a paint that you really love, it's like, okay, I need more of this. This particular, say, Hooker's Green is going to be a different shade in Amsterdam or Basic. Okay, Basic is a brand name of acrylic paint. So if you have a paint that you really like the color of, getting it in different company names does make a difference. Okay, so so I'm looking at that and I'm thinking maybe Hooker's Green, because like I say, it's one of my favorites. Okay, and so this is kind of a dark Hooker's Green on top of these as well. So let's put them in between there. Those green spots in between there. Oh, we were going to do the little ones around there too. Okay, let's do both. Let us do both, my darlings. Hooper's green. I'm going to put this here. See, when the paint dries around the caps and stuff, it's really, you want to peel that off of there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit. You can tell I use this a lot. Okay, I'm going to put that there. And when I look at what I have, oh no, this darker one there. Okay, I've made up my mind, even though it doesn't sound like it. Okay, I'm going to put the green dots here, and I'm going to put little green dots here on this. I'm going to see if you can see. It's little green dots over here. There are little green dots around these. So maybe we should go ahead and put them around here. Let's let that dry a little bit first. Okay, let's go ahead and do these outside green dots. They're not pink. They are yellow tulle. Okay, yellow tulle can be a dropper. That's too big. Let's see. Pencil's a little bit on the small side. I'm going to say dropper is your best bet. Okay. So, and with these, we are going to put them in between and in the middle here. Okay. And again, you know, the best way to do this is to create, oh, this green paint is really drippy. Okay. So we want to do, and let this, if it's really drippy, let it drip on the plate, not on you. Here. Okay, see it. All right, so see, this one's really drippy. It even has a little bit of a tail going on there. So use like a Q-tip or something where you can just kind of pull that off of there a little bit. Okay, so a good idea to have some Q-tips handy, certainly. Okay, I'm going to, it doesn't have to be a Q-tip, can be a piece of cotton, can be just a piece of your paper towel. Okay, so I'm cleaning off the excess here, just because I had it kind of sitting there for a bit. Okay, make sure it's nice and even. And like I said, this paint is a little bit drippy, so I'm being really careful with it. And you're going to find that certain brands, the paints have a different viscosity. They have different thickness to them. Nice. Okay, letting it drip. This one really has a lot of drippage. Okay, so I let it drip here and here. COVID pandemic, really, a lot of people have had a lot of, you know, illness. It's like any flu, you know, there's a lot of sickness, sometimes worse. Okay, but Einstein has one of my very best favorite quotes, and I'm probably not going to get it verbatim word for word, but he says, the most important decision you'll ever make is to try and decide if you live in a friendly universe or not. Now, you wouldn't think that that would be a decision that a person needs to make, yet I find that it is extremely true, all right, that we're having to make a decision. Oh, I'm not sure to make these. make a decision on whether or not the universe is friendly. You know, when things are at their worst, people seem to be at their best. And, you know, things are starting to open up again now because most people have, you know, it's such a viral strain of a virus, certainly, that everyone most likely has been exposed to it on some level. Yet many of us, myself included, never showed any signs of illness or anything like that. But I find it difficult to believe that I'd be the only person who, you know, has never been exposed to it. So it just means that we're healthy, we've built up some antibodies, blah, 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 this and that. So opening up again, you know, it's good news. We just have to still be safe, you know, protect our older generations and people who may be infirm and good stuff like that. But, you know, this illness gave us an opportunity, you know, like that's, you know, that's what I asked myself. I think everything has a flip side to it. It's like, okay, where are the opportunities here? So one opportunity is, you know, looking at oneself, what works in my life, what doesn't work in my life, how do I want to make changes? You know, opportunities, you know, if you're in a service type of business where I not only do art, I do meditations, a lot of energy work. So it's like, how do you reach more people? Because there certainly is more of an outcry now. Okay, we need meditations, we need this, we need that, we need more content. Why aren't we hearing from you more? Okay, so so reaching out, you can reach out a lot further using social media. And I'll tell you that, you know, I've always known enough about the computer to kind of get what I want out of it, but I have learned so much more. Zoom, online tutorials, YouTube, okay? So an opportunity to reach a lot more people, certainly. And, you know, when things are at their worst, we're at our best. All these heroes are just kind of coming out of the woodwork, and they were always there. And like I said, sometimes things at their worst can bring out people at their best, and it's quite an amazing thing to see. So like I said, the flu, like any flu, okay, COVID is a flu. It's a new flu. It's a very harsh strain. So because it's new, we haven't built up antibodies. It's like when the old time flu first came out, there was a great deal of loss. But throughout the years, we have built up certain antibodies. So, you know, every winter, you know, the flu, we catch a flu, but it's a different strain. But we have something inside of us from the last time, so we're able to fight it off. So we will be that way with this one as well. There's a lot of theory about where this came from and so on and so forth. And certainly I have my own ideas and thoughts about that. But the end result is that it's here, and it's something that we have had to deal with. So again, you know, make the choice to live in a friendly universe. Keep your heart clear. Children learn by mirroring. Okay, so, you know, if they see you making a choice to live in a friendly universe and how to bring something positive out of the suffering and whatnot, then that's what they're going to do too. Okay, so there's nothing to fear. It's like your kids will be fine, and they're going to mirror what you feel, what you do, how you handle it. So if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your kids. Okay, Joni, lecture over. Peach tea, hot cocoa. What else do we need here? All right, we want to do these little dots around these big blue guys. All right, so I'm actually going to take, because my green is so drippy, I'm going to take a little bit of yellow here, and I'm going to mix it in with my green. That will not only make my green more of a highlight color, it will hopefully also make it a little thicker. Okay, so clean one of your brushes. I have a small brush here. I'm actually using it to mix. obviously you can use a palette knife, that will work too. I'm going to take a little bit of this green and add some yellow to it. And add a lot of yellow to it. And more yellow to it. Okay, so again, I want to kind of pull it in the middle here. But look at that color. That is beauteous. Absolutely loving it. Okay, I'm going to try and get the excess off the brush like that. I am going to clean the brush as much, just a quick, and then put it back in the water. Because again, we don't want paint to dry on the brush. And I just threw it on the floor. Okay, let's pick it up. There we go. All right, I am going to use a small little guy here. I just don't know how small. Okay, see, they have different tips. Oh, I didn't clean that one very good at all. Okay, so we're working around these blue. Will this fit all the way around these? I'm thinking yes. So I'm going to use the bigger size. The bigger size is going to be like a pencil point. Okay, so if you don't have dotting tools, use a pencil point. And pencil points, you can like scratch them on a piece of paper and actually flatten out the points. And that actually makes them easier to use as well. Okay, there is something called walking the dots, where we put our tool in and watch this as good as you can. I'm going to put a dot there, and instead of re-dipping, I'm going to let the tool run out of paint and see how that dot gets smaller. Okay, so now I'm going to re-dip, and I'm going to go right back in that big one and then go down the other side. Okay, and I'm also going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm actually doing 6 dots around there. Now I'm going to tell you that this, even though you get good at dotting right away because you're doing so many, you might want to try this on a piece of scrap paper first. Okay, and like I said, by the time you do it twice, you'll be like, okay, yeah, I got it. Okay. So I'm doing 6. Okay, if you happen to not get 6 on there, so what? Don't worry about it. If someone sits there and counts all your dots, the heck with them. Oh, I didn't say that out loud. Let's do the other side. Someone said to me, you must have a lot of patience to do this. And you know what? You don't need to have patience. You just need to have the desire to do it. And once you start, you know, it's so much fun that you don't even realize how much time is going by, or, you know, eventually I have to go to the bathroom, I'm hungry, or my back might get sore. But that's how I know that I've been doing this for a long time and that I might need a break. A little bit more for this one. There we go. Okay, so can you see those little green dots over there? I'm telling you, how can you get tired of doing those? Some people, okay, I had one student, after she did the first one, I thought, oh my God, she's never going to do another one, because she was like, oh, I'm tired of making these dots, blah, 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 this and that. So I thought, oh my gosh, you know, she's not going to be one of those people who is going to enjoy this, which is, you know, kind of a surprise to me, because that is very meditative for me and for most people. So I thought, okay, you know, she's not going to be one of those people. I'm correcting my little mistake over here. However, once she finished it, she kind of looked at it and she went, oh my gosh, you know, she really, really liked it. And she has done a number of them since then, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So sometimes you just don't know until you try it. I have another friend. She's actually a professional violinist, which is, she's extremely talented. And she has children at home. And so she's like, you know, I really, you know, she came to art a couple of times, and she said, you know something? She said, I love those mandalas. I would love to come over and make one with you. And I said, absolutely, I would love that. So she did, and I'll tell you, she fell in love with them, and she's so good at them. She's like way better at them than I am. And she has done a number of them, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So, so we got her a gift membership to the Greater Haverhill Arts Association, because I am on the board there, and said, oh my gosh, we need to have people see what you are doing, what you're doing there. So, so we did that, and I do believe you will see some of her work in a Peabody exhibit coming up. So we will, so stay in touch with me, all right? jonissa@comcast.net. Stay in touch. We got a lot of good stuff going on here. Okay, I have to say, I really, this this light green really makes a difference here on this. Okay, isn't that beautiful? Okay, so born out of necessity, because I thought, okay, I want to thicken this paint just a little bit. All right, so that gave us some really nice to work with. And like I said, we're going to kind of dot over some of these, but we want them to dry out really well. If you try to put wet dots on top of them, they won't come out really evenly. Okay, so we have some green, dark green and light green dots going around the 1, 2, in between the second and third, which would put him right in through here. Okay, so let's go darker first. I'm going to use the same tool, I think. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So it's outside the third. 1, 2, 3. So I think it's here. All right, so I'm going to use the darker, the goopy one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, right in between these. And because it's so goopy, actually is working out quite well. I don't want to tip it too much. I don't want it to drip, but it's this right here. And I'm putting them in between the pink dots. Okay, so it's a little small. I'm going to redot it. There we go. I have to say, I'm quite liking that. Whenever I do these tutorials, even though I have something that I'm working from, because people say, oh, gee, I like that. Will you do a tutorial on that one? And of course, the answer is always yes. You know, I love doing artwork at any time and anything. So, yet, like I say, they all come out slightly different. All right, and this is lovely, very lovely. Okay, so I'm thinking, let me see, where else do I have those little green guys? Right around here. And we have the light green in between them, which is extremely exciting. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the smaller side, right, which is going to be the same as a sharp pencil point. Okay, and I'm going to go and put, I'm going to support my hand here. I'm going to put 2 two small light dots in between those dark dots. This one I'm doing 3 because I have more room than we thought. Okay, so cater to your own piece, obviously. Whatever it needs. We will get it. They absolutely take on a life of their own, don't they? Wait till you see this. I'm going to hold it up. Doing just these pencil point dots in between the dark green. Look, isn't that beauteous? When these dark green dry, we could put another little top dot there. But I'm really liking that. This is pretty. Very pretty. Okay, so this, do you want to put some in between here? Oh, why the heck not? I think I should. Okay, which side? Okay, stay with the small side. Stay with the small side, and I am putting it on the inside dots over here. Okay, right there. Am I showing you correctly? Oh, it's hard to see that. This way. Okay. So I'm putting them in between the pink dots using the pencil point size. Okay, some of these you're going to have to reload the tool every time, and sometimes you won't. It definitely depends on the thickness of the paint. Oh, nice! Look at that. Very nice. I am. Let me make sure it's in frame because I'm looking differently. Okay. Very, very cool. Okay, so let's take. Okay, I'm going to use the pencil point again, but I want to put some right around. Do I really? It's awfully close in there. Don't want to ruin it. Oh. Okay, so this, I have this. Okay, and we have the outer green. Let's go dark. Let's go with the darker green around here. I'm going to use the small point. Okay, so hold that thought. I'll show you where I'm putting it. Okay, right beside, oops, don't want to touch the keyboard. Are we still recording? Oh, good. I'm like trying to show you what's here. I'm so close. I'm touching the computer. Okay, so let's put them in between here like this. And all it's doing is kind of giving a double layer here, which is actually just making the green show up more, which is it's nice. Okay, so the little dots, you know, really can carry a great deal of weight if we let them. Okay, and this is the green that's really loose. So if you have really loose paint, be careful of the little tails that they kind of leave around it. But that looks really awesome. That look good. I think we need No, man. I think we'll leave it. We'll leave it be. We'll let it dry, and then we'll do some other stuff. Okay, let's see. All right, so we kind of, there's blue here in between. So we have these, we have silver on those. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's good. So around these, I actually have silver. Cool. Silver and gold. Silver and gold. Let's do them. Have these little green dots here. They actually have green dots, light green dots along here. Okay, so see these green dots here? We have these light green dots. Let's put more light green dots around here. Again, flat pencil point, okay? Let's use the light green that we have here. And again, we're gonna walk those dots. 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's see here. That one we almost can't see. 1, 3, 5. Let's make that a little dark. Okay, so around these green dots, we're putting highlight dots, all right, and that's the green that have the yellow in it. Okay, so these are the only colors we've used so far. Okay. Okay, so I'm doing 5 down each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Beauteous. This is evening for me here. It's about it's almost 9 p.m. I've been working here for a good hour or so, but this is the best time for me to work on these because the phone's not ringing constantly. People are not at the door. You would think with the COVID pandemic that would be, and it has, I should say it has. So I'm not complaining. I like people. I am safe. I feel safe. This is a good time to do this because there are no interruptions. Plus, right now, I'm thinking about what I'm doing here. But a lot of times, if I'm not doing a tutorial, it's very, like I said, it's very meditative. You know, I'll be going along and I'll get an idea for something. I'll be inspired. You know, something will enter my mind and I'll be inspired. And I'll say, oh gosh, I'm going to try this or that. And it's very exciting when inspiration hits you. Someone asked me the question, where does inspiration come from? So I didn't have to think too long about that because I'm a very spiritual person, which is a little bit different than a religious person. I mean, I know a lot of religious people who are really, really nice, but when it comes to a person or even a group of people who think that they exclusively know what, God the Creator wants, then I get a little bit like, I don't know about that. I get a little bit of not going to go with that. However, I am a very spiritual person and definitely believe in God, and I think that that's where inspiration comes from. The Creator will be watching you and they're like, okay, yeah, you're really good at that. How about, expanding it and doing this, this, or that? So absolutely, I think that inspiration comes from a very divine source. I also believe in an afterlife. So sometimes our families that are in spirit can kind of come along and say, hey, you know, that looks pretty good. Why don't you try this, or that? Or maybe you can reach more people if you would learn how to use the computer better, Joan, and blah, blah, blah. And absolutely glad that people pay me the same way they would pay any other um, professional nurse, post clerk, or whatever, because, you know, I need to have a roof over my head. This is how you support yourself. But during the COVID pandemic and stuff, we had offered all of these without any cost to anyone. And I'll tell you, it's been, you know, it gives you such a good feeling. And, you know, when people call and say, oh, you know, this was so relaxing, or it took my mind off it, or it kept me sane during the past couple, it's better than money. Like I said, I'm glad there's some money involved. Normally there is. Like I said, these COVID pandemic months, everything is, you know, again, you know, just want people to be able to focus on something beautiful and something calming and peaceful. So that's the goal there, here, certainly. There's plenty of time to think about money. Right now, we're going to think about art. Okay, so we're going to make now we have big blue dots over here. Okay, let's do it. We have two big blue dots coming out of there. What do we want to use for our big blue dots? These are actually probably about the same size. I'm going to switch to this one, which would be, again, a flat pencil point, I think. Okay, so I'm going to use the blue, and I'm going to make 1, 2, okay, 2 blue dots along my larger dots. Okay, that's what we're looking like. Best time of the evening. You know, do I paint or do art every single day? The answer to that is I would love to, but there are sometimes things that require your attention that are not art related, which is okay. I have a very balanced and interesting, fun life. A lot of good stuff. I have lots of good stuff in my life. Okay, so we have those two. We should have made big blue dots here. Okay, let's make a big blue dot right at the end of these. So I'm going to clean this up. Okay, maybe I need a clean paper towel. We have a baby coming next month, and we are beyond excited, beyond happiness, because, I mean, we'd be happy no matter what, but I have only one niece and one nephew, and both are both women. My nephew's wife and my niece are all of childbearing age. But, you know, in today's world, you know, sometimes we do other things besides have kids. That's okay. Everyone has to live their life. But we are having our first baby in my immediate family, okay? Not, you know, aunts, uncle, cousins, all kind. We have lots of beautiful, beautiful children. But in my immediate family, we are having our first bambino in 30 years. So if you don't think that I am super excited, I am super excited. So we are doing that. So that actually, my nephew and his wife live out of state. So of course we had to have 2 baby showers. one in Massachusetts and one in Connecticut, where they live. So we planned, me and my sister planned 2 baby showers. And oh boy, what a great time we had. We did have people come inside with masks and all of the good stuff, but we also did some drive-bys, okay, where we had folks, we set up balloons and all kinds of cool stuff outside. And we made goodie packages, and people stopped by and we gave them goodies, and we got to talk to them and, you know, do some distancing as well so that we keep everybody safe. But it was the best. It was best. We saw both online because we did some Zoomy type stuff, but we saw people. I have a very large extended family. So we saw people that, you know, haven't seen for a long time. So it was absolutely marvelous. So excited, excited. I am going to go with pink. Okay, pink tulle, that is. Pink tulle, which is the same as maybe that dauber tulle. Okay, so we're going to do that. And I'm actually making light blue. I mixed my blue with my white, got a very light blue, and now I'm putting it right here. Okay, I'm making a large blue dot right there. Okay, so they are at the ends of the 2 little blue dots that I just made. See them? Okay, yeah. If you need to, stop the recording and catch up. Which I don't get a sense that I'm moving too fast, but I have had people say to me, "Oh, you're too far ahead of me." So I say, stop the recording and catch up. And you don't want to rush. You don't want to rush anything like this. They always come out better when you take your time and kind of in the right mindset for it. Okay, so I want to go down a size, I think. So what would be next? Maybe this blue. Maybe this blue one. Okay, so I'm going to clean this one off because, again, don't let paint dry on the ends of these. I'm going to go with the blue, which again is going to be like an eraser on a pencil size. All right, I'm going to stay with the light blue, and I am going to go on this side of the blue dot that I just made. Kind of looks like Mickey Mouse ears. Okay. Going down. All right. So here's my big blue dot. So I'm going down just a little bit. So it's almost a almost triangular in shape. See that? You can start to see the design taking shape now, right? You can see where we're going with this baby. You, if you find that this is taking more time than you want it to, certainly can continue at a different day. Okay, so this one actually didn't cover as well as I had hoped. So I'm actually just going to reload the tool and redot and come out with a beauty like that. Okay, so now I want to go even smaller. Okay, so the next size down. Oh no, it's the same size. Let's try this one. Okay, So this particular one is also, I would say, maybe a smaller pencil. Nope, that's even too big. So we're going to use like a big flat pencil point. Okay, so if you take a pencil and just kind of rub it back and forth, you really flatten out the tip. Okay, going back to my light blue, coming down here. Right, making a little bit of a Christmas tree shape over here. Okay, let me dot this guy here. Ta-da! See how we're getting an overall shape here? It's quite exciting. And again, stop the recording if you need to. Okay, because we're getting a really starry look here now. Beauteous, just beauteous. What do you think? Isn't that awesome? Cool. Okay, clean off the tip. Clean off the tip. All right, so now let's go with our big, let's go with the, this is going to, again, be kind of like a pencil tip, I would think. Okay, but maybe flatten it out even just a little bit more here. Okay, so I'm going into the blue once again. Okay, and doing these final little dots in here. See those two little dots? And maybe here would look pretty good. Okay, so I'm putting 4 dots. Hopefully not running paint here, Joan. So I want 1 in the bottom, like this. Okay, which looks really cool. 1 on each bottom, I should say. And then in between these 2. Okay, nice. So we're changing the look from a point to something that's a little bit more rounded. Okay, so we're doing 2 in the bottom here, 2 in the bottom, and then 1 in between dots 2 and 3. Okay, so have them at the bottom. And again, we're going to put them in between dots 2 and 3 of our big blue. Okay, seeing it? Okay, running out of paint here. So it's a good thing that I am where I am, which is on the last blue here. Looka, looka, looka. Nice, nice. Liking it, liking it. Okay. let us, so we have this, we have some dark blue going somewhere here. Let's use the same, tool and go into our dark blue. And let's, do we want to, do you want to dance? Okay, wait, hold that thought. Okay, let's put it in between the pinks. Okay, so we're doing a dark blue in between our pink dots. Okay, see it? Beauteous. Okay, don't go too fast. And don't rest your hand on the wet paint. You will not be happy if you do. Some, you can, if you make an error, certainly, most of them are fixable. All of them probably are fixable, but some are a little bit easier to fix than others. So, of course, the best thing is to not make them at all, if possible. Okay, so let's do, okay, if you have gold, let's do some gold dots around some of these pink. If you do not have gold, okay, then what you can use is a bronze color, okay, which is kind of a mustardy color. Okay, so it does not have to, this is actually a nice bronze color as well. So I'll leave that out. You might want to use that. So where is that gold? Here it is. Da-da-da. So, oh, that's gray, right? We don't want gray. This is, the brand on this is Basics, right? And it says gold. Now, for the most part, a metallic gold is pretty much a metallic gold, no matter what brand you get into. But I have noticed that I like the metallic gold of this brand the best. It has the most shine. And as far as I'm concerned, you can never have enough bling, okay? So no matter which gold you have, that's fine. But again, this is my favorite, okay? And the brand name on it is Basics. It's a Liquitex product. Okay, so it's a relatively decent product, definitely student grade, all right? People who do acrylics professionally certainly can use these types of things, but a lot of times they'll buy really thick tubes. The viscosity in the tube is like toothpaste almost. And when you put it out on your palette, you mix it with mediums and so on and so forth, so you get exactly the consistency that you want, all right? But most people just use these, okay? And again, Golden is a great brand name. Galleria is a good brand name, but for what you're doing here, this is absolutely fine. After this dries really good, you can go over it with some Mod Podge. You can spray it with a spray varnish. Make sure you do it outside and hold your breath while you're doing it. It's a stinky thing, at least the varnish is. Okay, the Mod Podge and stuff, I don't really notice much of an odor, but I do have a student who, I have one student out of about 20 who actually the Mod Podge bothers her. So, so again, if you're going to put a sealer or something on there, go outside and do it. And that way you don't have to worry about fumes, especially if you have a compromised immune system or any breathing problems at all. Okay, so we're ready to gold. We want to gold ourselves, right? And again, there's the paint dots are quite thick on here. So I'm going to let these dry out more before we actually top dot them. But around these we can actually get some gold on there. It'll look really nice. Okay, so I'm going to put some out on my palette. And again, you do not, absolutely do not have to use the same colors that I am using. Be for the tendency to dry in here. If you don't have a really shiny metallic gold, you can use any mustard color or off kind of yellows, or if you have yellow and it's too bright, you can mix it with some brown. There is no end to what you can do here, kids. Okay, so I am going to, can I get around there evenly? Okay, I'm going to use the small side, all right, which is going to be pencil point and the sharp pencil point, and I'm going to get some gold around the, actually I'm not, because I don't have enough room in through some of them. This one I don't, that one I do, don't. Okay, so I'm going to put the gold on the other side, all right, where I have more room. Okay, I'm going to go this way. And I'll show you un momento. Okay. So I put the larger dots on this side. Can you see it? There we go. Larger dots on this side and came around with very pencil point, very small. So there's literally a term for this. It's called walking the dots. Okay. So we're not necessarily walking these dots so that they're getting smaller. I'm more wanting to get a gold circle around them. So these dots are very, very small. Like I said, point of the pencil. And don't let the paint dry on there. And don't overload your brush. Okay. Okay, in the very small point, pencil point, or this very small tool here, allows us to get in relatively close here. So we're starting to get some good contrast. Contrast, my students are, they're learning how to diagnose their own artistic issues. So, they'll say to me, I'm not really sure what it is, but there's something about this artwork or this picture that's not right. What is it? What am I missing? So my answer is always, whenever you have a question about artwork and you say, oh, I'm not really sure what it is, blah, blah, the very first word that should come to your mind is contrast, right? If contrast is, is it always going to be the answer? Maybe not. But 99.99.99, most of the times it is. Okay, if you look at something, you say, all right, Joan, this part is too something. What's it need? Well, it needs something to lighten it up because it's all one color. It's a very deep kind of darkish pink. How do we bring that out more? Can we create a contrast? Put contrast around them. Okay, and again, don't let the paint dry on that tip. Okay, and these are all colors that we've used so far, right? So we're, just adding white to colors that we're using. So we used a dark blue. We added some white to it and used a light blue, and that was beautiful. Same thing with the green. We used a nice dark green We added some yellow to it, and we got a beautiful highlighted green. Okay, so so with very little, a limited palette is what it's called. Certainly, we're able to make a lot of different colors, but in the same family. Okay, is that desirable? In this case, yes, because we want it to relate. However, the best way I can describe art, or teaching art certainly, is teaching a student kind of the rules, if you will. Okay, and by rules, I mean the way to make things look three-dimensional, how to use layering, how to make one thing look like it's in front of something else. What is perspective? How do we get this to look like, we're walking down the road? So there are certain techniques and ways to accomplish those things. All right. So when I say, the rules of art, so on and so forth, that's kind of what I mean. How teach a person, basic shape. How do we make things look 3D, so on and so forth. But then once you teach the student that, then throw those rules out, okay? So that a student can now visualize something in their heads, okay? And it may not be something typical. It may not be your everyday anything, right? But if they're seeing something and in their head it looks layered, or it looks this way or that, now they have the technique to bring whatever they're seeing in their mind's eye out onto the canvas or a drawing surface. Okay. So that would be my goal for my students, because even if they get to the point where they don't really need me anymore, they usually remain friends, okay? And I'll tell you, when you're in a energy-related field, okay, and art is definitely an energy-related field. It's a right brain function, and you will find that you draw. I have found that I draw the most awesome people to myself. I am so grateful. I also play the ukulele. And for those of you who have heard me play, I will ask for you to be generous with your evaluations. But regardless, I enjoy it immensely. Music also kind of a right brain function. And again, I just magnetize the very best people to myself. Look at those, that's awesome. And so, again, there's no way you can listen to your favorite music for a few minutes and still kind of be bummed out if you were before. Music is an awesome thing. And I was lucky enough to spend some time in Hawaii. And when I came back with a pink ukulele and a CD. And I decided, gee, maybe I'll try and play this thing. It became evident very, very quickly that I was going to need a little help. So I got online and started Googling ukulele groups, which I was totally shocked at how many that there are, because I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to have a hard time with this, But there are an amazing amount of ukulele groups out there. So I actually joined 3 of them, thinking to myself, all right, I will find the one that I kind of fit in with and go with that. Well, Southern New Hampshire Ukulele Group, the very first time I met them, I knew I was home. These people are amazing musicians and artists. I call them artists from a higher perspective. A lot of them sit on the board of the Ukulele Kids Club and donate ukuleles to children in hospitals. They'll teach them how to play it. So the Ukulele Kids Club is not part of SNUG or Southern New Hampshire Ukulele Group, but we do have members that sit on the board. And our group, independent of all other groups, has raised throughout the years over $70,000 for this cherished charity. So I knew right away I had found a home, and it was the best thing I ever did. They are an amazing, amazing group of people. Okay, doing more goals. Gotta do more goals. You can never have enough bling. All right, so I'm thinking, put it right in between these pinkola dots here. Okay, using the larger pencil point tool. Okay, and maybe one that you've flattened out a little bit is going to make some really good sized dots here. Okay, whether you're using a dotting tool or a pencil, okay, whatever you're using for a dotting tool, hold that dotting tool up straight. Okay, if you start to use it like a pencil, they're going to come out wicked funny. Okay, look at that. Total awesomeness. Total awesomeness. I'm wondering if these are dry enough for me to dot over. Ha! I think they could be. Okay, so while I have my gold paint out, I am going to dot over, okay, these little guys right here. Okay, so I want to take my own advice and do them straight. Okay, right here. Is that not awesome? Double dotting, or call it top dotting, is the most amazing thing. I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Who thought this up? And then as you go along, you yourself will start thinking things up, like using two colors and making a marble effect dot. They're the most amazing thing. You can also, with the background, you could make graduated colors. So say from the middle of your canvas, you decided to go really dark with a color. And then as you went out to the sides, you went ahead and made it lighter and lighter. So you can actually play with the backgrounds quite a bit. Okay, and they will absolutely add. As I was talking to you, I started doing this. I started doing the other circle. So now I am going to continue what I started. So I have this inner circle done, and I'm actually going to the second group of pink circles. And luckily, like I said, it's dry enough for me to go ahead and do that. So I've also dotted mandalas on rocks, which is totally an amazing thing to do, as well as painting pictures on rocks and so on and so forth. Okay, so we have some bling going on now, baby. Okay. So let us take a little bit of a bigger tool, and I think we want to go silver in here. Did I pull out some silver? Okay, again, if you don't have a metallic silver, and I think this is a metallic, use gray. Okay, here's gray, and here's silver. Okay, see them? They are just about the same. The silver is a little bit lighter, obviously, and has some metallic in it. All right, so I want to put that on my larger dark pink dots. So I'm going to find a tool that is smaller. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this blue tool, which is going to probably, best bet is probably going to be the dropper. Okay, or this even better, an eraser. Eraser on the back. okay, of your, am I showing you right? No. Okay, wait. See, I have to find. Okay, so the eraser is about the same size. Okay, so I want to put my gray or silver right in these dots. Oh, look what I have done. What is that? I must have stuck my hand on them. I have a bunch of little spoily things going. That's okay, I can handle it. I'm going to save my corrections until the end, because if I go ahead and cover these and then stick my hand somewhere else, might as well just wait. So just wait if you have corrective work that you need to do. So I'm going to take my gray or silver, and I'm going to try not to stick my hand in it this time. And I'm going to put it right into the larger pink dots. Okay, so see, top dotting is absolutely amazing, amazing good fun. When you see them, it's very exciting. Okay, so some of these top dots have lots of paint on them. I'm going to try to get them a little bit thinner here, which is tough for me to do. I'm an abundance person. The more I put on something, the better I like it. Okay, so this dot looks a little bit out of round. I'm going to re-dot it, as does that one. Okay, so another good argument for kind of taking your time is getting these dots centered. There we go. There we go. So we want to take our time and do a good job. Okay, that one is not a good job. So let's make it better. Let us make you better, honey. There we go. There we go. And actually, you could be better. Look, 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 look. Yay. Really, really beautiful. Really coming together now. Okay, I'm going to clean the paint off of this tool. Okay. Clean it, clean, clean. Okay, and I think in between these, let us do some gold. That would be awesome. So let's go small, bigger, biggest. Small, bigger, biggest. Is this big enough? Or we could go big, small. Let's go small, bigger. Small, bigger. Bigger, small. Let's go small, bigger. Okay. I'm looking at the one that I'm using as a guide, and I went from small to large. However, I, always wanting to change things up a little bit. I thought, well, let me go the other way. But I like the way that this one looks, so I'm going to go ahead and go with that. Okay, so I'm going to do two small, two big, and then a big one. Okay, so this small one is going to be the size of a flattened out pencil point. Okay, and I am going to use my metallic gold. And from these green dots, I'm going to go 1, 2, just like that. Let me see if I'm in screen. There we go. Okay. Let's do it again. 1, 2. Okay, so we're just we're lining up with our green dots, and that's how you know where to put these. Okay, so pay attention, all right? And if you do happen to make a mistake, do not panic, because that certainly will not help you. But, stop the recording and, fix your mistake before it dries. And that's when it's easiest to do. So those gold dots look cool already. Okay, so I'm going to clean off this tool. Remember, and I know I keep saying it, and that's why you don't have to memorize anything, because I will keep reminding you, don't let the paint dry on the tool. The next tool is the size of an eraser. Okay, and actually the eraser is a little bit bigger, but that's okay. Use your next size up. go into the gold, and we're going to go just a little bit bigger. So we're doing two biggerers. Okay. All right. Take your time. Don't rush. In that one, it's not lined up quite right. I'm going to move it over just a tad by actually just making it bigger. So some of these things you can create optical illusions to correct them, which I am quite good at this point in my career. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Awesomeness. Okay. Take your time, line things up. Okay, now as we get to the bottom of these canvases, there's only so far you're going to be able to go at the bottom. All right, so know that that's coming and let it be okay. All right, so now you guessed it, clean off your tool. Okay, and then we're going to go to the biggest one that I have, which is, that's too big, that's too small. Go with your dabbing tool. Okay, so I'm going to go with my next size up, and again, these two at the bottom, you could go off the canvas if you wanted to. I guess I could fit them in, but I'm not going to push them in. I'm going to leave them alone. Okay, so I'm only doing one out here because I'm thinking maybe go another size bigger. Okay. So now these two in the middle, I've kind of left, and then these I've gone one size bigger. And I think I can go one size bigger yet. Okay, cleaning. And next size up is going to be this pink guy, which is going to be the size of an eraser. Okay, and again, okay, skipping the two on the short edges. Nice. Okay, and this is going to give my picture a more rectangular look as well. See how we're focusing there? That is quite awesome to me. I'm liking it. Now we want to kind of use the same tools to go down. We want to go down the sides here. Okay, so we want one here and here. So we are going to use this guy. Okay, so we're going to use our eraser tip. Okay, and we're going to second dot in. We're going to put two there, and maybe we're going to go down even one more. Okay, so let's do that. All right. Okay, with this little guy, just going to do one here and one here. Okay, so on our short guys, I wonder if I could fit one more here. I'm sure I could actually. We're right on the edges here. Okay. Okay, So what I did is I did add another one there. I was relatively sure I could fit it on there, and I'll show you what I did over here. Okay, so I added one more dot here and one more here, and it just kind of made it, this one, really on the edge. Okay, so now I am taking and doing in between the second dot and the third dot. Second and third. Okay. And if you don't get good coverage, just redot them. Okay, so see what that's starting to look like. How awesome is that? Aren't you excited? Okay. 1, 2. Okay, and on the same thing on the short ones. We're going to do 1, oops, 2. Okay, if you do not get good coverage, it just means that you don't have enough paint on the tool. Reload the tool and then redip. Ta-da! Now, this is getting really exciting. Okay, because look how exciting that is. Cleaning that tool, clean those tools. Okay, good. So now we want to sit. Okay, so now as I'm looking at what we're using as a guide here, I see that these gold spots get smaller as we go down into our center, as we're moving towards our center. So I'm actually going to use a smaller tool and continue that kind of downward slope. And I will show you what I mean. Let's take this one. Let's take this one, which is going to be your pencil point, but again, one that has a rather flat point on it. Doing 2 more. Okay, see, making almost like a little honeycomb here. Okay, so I am doing 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, now holding them up and doing them is not the best idea possible, because you want them to be straight up and down, but sometimes you just gotta do it. Okay, so this is going to give us a nice full look. Okay, and I think on these larger ones, I'm going to do 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. Okay, see, 1, 2, 3, and watch. 1, 2, 3. Okay. On the short sides, just do 2. 1, 2. Okay, make sure you have enough paint on your tool. There we go. There we go. See what those are starting to look like? Is that not awesome? This guy needs a little bit here. Maybe a little bit here. Okay. Redot that little guy. Okay. What are you thinking? Isn't that awesome, awesome, awesome? Okay. We are so getting there. All right. So I think what we can do is, these are not dry enough. Not yet. Okay, because I want to top dot those with a lighter green. But over here, let's top dot these blues are probably dry enough. And I want to top dot with white, I believe. Okay, so let's put some white out. And I mean, I did have some white out before, but they've been sitting here for a while. So they are, that paint is dry. Okay, and before you touch anything else, certainly make sure your hands are dry. Okay, so we want to top dot with white. Let me see here. All right, so this is the same tool that you used for the small gold dots. Let's use that for these smaller blue dots. All right, and then in the big blue dot, we'll use a different tool. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, you're gonna love it. Let me do a couple more so you can see it. Okay, see those? Right there. Let's do them. Let's do them to them. So we're doing 4. Okay, and try not to stick your hand in the paint. See them? Okay, and we're going to top dot the other blue ones as well. But I just want to use a bigger tool because they're bigger dots. And I suppose we could use this one, but let's not and say we did. Okay, once again, if you feel you need to stop the recording to catch up, like I said, it never feels to me like I'm kind of buzzing along, but sometimes people will say that to me. They say, "Oh, you're going too quickly." Okay, and again, you will find that at the end of this tutorial, you will be a pro at making all these dots, because I mean, I don't know how many dots are on here, but there's a lot of dots going on here. And so you have no choice. You've got to get good at it. So maybe that being the case, you can move along a little bit more confidently. But until that happens, take your time. Stop the recording. Clean your tools. Don't get mad at me for repeating. Okay. I'm going to go with a little bit of a bigger tool, and this is the size of an eraser at the top of your pencil. Okay, so with this, I am going to go into the large blue. That's what it's going to look like. And I have to say, this white and blue combination, especially the light blue combination, I find quite pleasing. It's really beauteous. Okay. So see, I just did those 3. That look awesome. And you know, people are like, "Oh, I did not believe I could actually create this." But you know what? If you're doing this step by step, it's pretty easy actually. You know, someone saying to you, do this, do that. And with children, I have children in class that do mandalas, and theirs always come out very interesting. They don't always come out perfect, and that's quite okay. We don't need them to be perfect, but they always get really good at it. I have a 6-year-old who does a mandala. As a matter of fact, I see it. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so this mandala is not finished, and it's being done by a 6-year-old. Okay, this is what it looks like. She's 6, right? And I mean, you know, they're not perfect, certainly, But look at her colors, the colors that she chooses, and she really likes them to pop. Orange inside of red. Love it. Absolutely love it. And it's on a totally dark black background. So every single thing she puts on here really pops. There's some purples and dark blues on here, which actually don't pop, but as soon as she top dots them, they will. Okay. So she's been working on this for a couple of weeks now, and not steadily because she's 6 and she kind of, her attention wavers. So I'll say to her, you want to work on something? We'll put this away and we'll work on it next week. Yeah, I want to do that. Okay. So, but my point is if a 6-year-old can do it, so can't you. You can do it too. You can do it too. So these little blue dots, which I just stuck my finger in, okay, we're going to top dot those with white also. And I'm going to use this will be the size of a pencil point, but one that's flattened, okay? So I'm going to dip it in the white, and I'm going to do these little guys over here, which they really covered one. So that might be too much. So go with a pencil point that's a little bit sharper, because I really ended up covering that one more than I wanted to. And the pencil point one actually does work better. See it? See those? This one I kind of covered it, so I'm not going to try and fix it because it's not so eye-catching that it's a problem. But if I use the smaller pencil point size, see what is happening here? I can still see the blue, and I really like that a lot better. Okay. So just touching. Keep that tool straight so that you don't end up with a teardrop. We want a flat dot. Ta-da. Look. Nice. Okay, that one did not dot well. I'm going to redot it. And when you're redotting in really small places, be careful, because if you don't center the dot exactly where you had it before, you're going to end up with like an oblong dot. And you won't like it. You won't be happy. You won't be happy with it. Okay, so let's do this and this. Okay, so I'm using a very small point here. But look what it's doing. It's bringing our dots to life. Nice. Okay, so look what we have. It's amazing. An amazing thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use the pencil point side that is flat. And I'm going to walk some white dots around these big blue guys. Okay, so watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 4. Okay, see it? Right? And I have my white paint out. I'm going to dot right there and make a little center dot, which would be nice if it were in the center dot. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And I would say it's looking quite marvelous. 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4. Okay, and don't forget that little one right there. Okay, see what those look like? How awesome is that? Don't stick your finger in there. I'm trying to hold it up so you can see I stuck my finger right in that. Okay, that's okay. I can fix it. All right. 4. Okay, and again, this is called walking the dots when you allow the paint to just kind of, you know, wear out, get less and less on here. We start with a very big, or the biggest dot, and then they get smaller as we let the paint run out on the tool. But look, look, nice. Nice. You'll try it, you'll like it. Okay. 4, 4, and an extra one right there. How cool are we? 4, and a top dot right over there. Look, look. How cool. How cool is that? That's awesome. So you will see, you know, you'll see stuff like this and you'll think to yourself, wow, that would have looked really good if she had done this, this, or that. 2, 3, 4. And that's, again, what I call inspiration. You know, if you see something, you say, wow, I really like that. Your very next thought should be, how can I make it even better? So, you know, if I see something that inspires me and I say, wow, you know, how can I make it even better? And you know what? Your brain is an amazing thing and always tries to answer the questions that you ask of it. So it will try to answer that question for you and say, well, you know, if you do that and then add this, or blah, 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 it'll come out awesome. And typically, that's exactly what happens. Okay, I'm thinking I want a dot on the other side. Ooh, ooh, where did I drop? Hold that thought. Okay. When I drop stuff on the floor, I have to pick it up right away, because if I forget it's there, then it'll end up staying there, or worse, getting broken. And that's absolutely the worst thing that can happen to a Virgo. We like to know where our stuff is, even if it happens to be all over the place, as long as we know where. Okay, cold hot chocolate. Certainly still tastes good though. All right, so I'm thinking I want to put another dot there. That may be too close. So remember that when you're doing any piece at all, you always want to do what's best for your piece. Okay, let me see if I can hold them back a little bit more. So even though this is very close to the sample that we're working from, okay, it certainly is not exact, which again, I don't think you really want it to be. So let's go ahead and use the same tool, and maybe I'm thinking more blue. I want to connect these a little bit more here. So maybe I'll put blue around. I'll put blue around these green guys. Just stuck my hand in that white. Duh. Okay, so what I did, let me give this a little bit more thought here. Okay, so what I did is I put a blue circle, okay, and we already have little green dots over here, so I'm putting the blue dots around just a little bit above the other dots. Okay, so where are you? Right, so what I did here is I actually stuck my finger on this. So I'm gonna see if I can kind of get it off of there. And sometimes if you are able to get to it a little bit quickly, you can kind of salvage it a little. Okay, so that came off with relative ease. All right, so I'm going to let that dry out a tad. I'm going to clean off my blue tip because I actually used this particular tool to put that dot on there. And I'm going to do it right now only because I do not want to forget that it needs to be done. Okay, so I'm going to put that dot right back on there. Ta-da! And I'm going to not touch any more dots. All right, so I'm liking these blue dots around here. Okay, I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. Okay, so liking that and thinking I would like to do some more. Okay, so my blue paint has been sitting out here for a while, so I'm going to be careful. And I'm actually going to put these around the green dots. All right, this paint might be a problem here. Hold that thought. Okay, so as I say, sometimes, you know, when they're sitting out for a while, they can dry. So even though this paint would be okay if I added a little bit of water to it, I'm not going to. I'm actually going to find the paint. Okay, and this was, I see you. This was deep turquoise. Okay, so here's my deep turquoise over here. All right, and like I said, if I added some water to it, but I don't want to necessarily water it down. So I'm actually going to put another little spot out there, and to actually dip correctly, you need to have the paint at the right consistency, and that should be a creamy consistency. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to put some blue here, and it kind of in between, I would say, in between the green, and the first one kind of wasn't, but I'm going to do this anyway. See what it looks like, which is awesome. Okay, so I like the idea of kind of tying in the blues and the greens together. So this is very detailed work, certainly. And like I said, even people who don't consider themselves detail-oriented find this very, very enjoyable. Now, I'm sitting here and kind of doing this all at once, and I'm going on a couple hours here. So typically, you know, I might take a break if I needed to and come back to this. But because I want this to be a continuous, obviously continuous video, I'm going to finish it in one sitting. And typically I do anyway, but if you don't want to, you certainly do not have to. Okay, you can stop this and continue it at any time. Okay, and then letting this, don't let the paint glob on the point. Okay, and again, just going around the green ones. At least I thought I was. I just did a blue one. All right, so what that means is I can leave it like that, or I can go ahead and do all the blue ones, which will make more sense to me. Okay, so that's what this is looking like. Total awesomeness. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Do these. Okay, and I am going to go back and do the blue ones now because I was going to do just the green ones, but I did do a blue one by mistake, which I actually like the way that it looks. So I'm going to, rather than take that off or trying to correct it, okay, try not to mess up your background. Okay, so I had some blue paint on my fingers and I'm holding on to the canvas to kind of hold it up a little bit so people can see. But this is blue and green, blue and green, blue and green, blue and green, blue and green. This one needs to be blue and green. Okay. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right, so again, I'm kind of backtracking and doing my big blue dots too. Let's do this. Nice. Okay, so again, don't, sometimes the tendency is to just, dot along and, without a care in the world and so on and so forth. But you will find that if you do that and don't really kind of pay attention to what you're doing, some of your dots are going to look nice and smooth and even, and some of them are not, okay? So again, best to stop and pick it up later. If in fact you find that you need a break, go ahead and take a break. You don't even have to finish it in the same day. And typically students do not. So I have you know that they typically take their time with these. Some mandalas, and I have a big, huge one that I'm working on. It's a big 16 by 20 mandala. So what we're working on now is an 8 by 10. So you can imagine 16 by 20. So, and I have been working on that piece now for like 3 weeks, okay? And I can't say that I work on it every single day because like today, I am doing this instead. And I also, like I said, do fun and paints, wine and paints, do them online. We have a wine and paint online coming up. And wine and paint online is a live event. Okay, so we'll be doing it step by step in real time. Okay, so typically when I do them, I do like to record them. And that way, if a student feels like, they needed a little bit more time type of thing, they can always kind of go back and look at it and focus on the parts that they felt they needed to focus on. Okay, so like I said, if you're interested, absolutely contact me. Or I actually posted it last night on my website. I posted it on my energy website, which is www.intuitivebodyandsoul.com. Okay, it's also on Facebook and on my Meetup page. A Meetup is a group of people. Certainly, it's definitely free to join. And what happens is every time I decide that I'm going to do something, I post it on Meetup, and Meetup goes ahead and notifies everyone on the list, okay? And there are over 400 people on that list, okay? So you would be in extremely good company. This is what my mandala looks like. And I would like to top dot these big green and the blue actually. I like to top dot them with a light green, and then we may go ahead and call this one finished. Okay, so I am going to take my brush, and this is the paint I was using. All right, so this green, I have to say, it's pretty loose in here. So I don't think that I'm going to need more green. This is loose enough. However, it's a little bit darker than I wanted. So I am going to add a little bit more yellow to it because I would like to just have it pop out a little bit more. Okay, remember that contrast is the word that wants to come to your mind when you're thinking, oh yeah, it looks really good, but you know what, Joan, those are a little dark in there. You know, can you do something with them? Okay, and the answer is, of course I can. Okay, so I'm taking this green that I added quite a bit of yellow to so that it would really pop out. Maybe I'm going to try a little bit of white in there. That'll really, really, really pop it out. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and get the excess paint off the brush. I am going to clean off the excess and put my brush in the water. Remember, you don't want to wreck your brushes. Take care of your brushes. So I need one that is smaller than my green. Okay, and this one would be good for the blue ones, I think. Okay, so this is going to be, I'm sure it's going to be dropper size. Okay, so use your dropper. I'm going to take this light green and I am going to put it on top of this blue. Try to center it. Hello. Okay, it's not exactly centered here. Let me try this again. All right, that looks better. Okay, so now, okay, I'm going to do the blue ones. Okay, and look how those pop out. And I do want to do the green ones too, but I'm going to use a smaller tool because these blue dots are bigger than the green dots. But look at how that pops that out. They're not amazingly beautiful. Nice. I'm going to take some of the excess off of here, I hope. Okay, don't want to ruin my dots. Okay, let's try this one a little bit better here. Okay, blue dots. Oh, stuck my finger in it again. Some people are just a glutton for punishment. Okay, so while my blue dots are drying, I am going to clean the excess off of this tool, like so. And you already know why, so it doesn't dry on there. And I'm going to find my Q-tip again. And not only did I wreck this one, I actually wrecked the one on top of it as well. Okay, so I've wet the Q-tip, and I'm actually putting quite a bit of pressure on here. Okay. Ugh, good heavens. Okay, so let's do that, and let's dry it relatively soon. And I'm going to, I think I wiped the paint right off of here. I think that's underneath the purple. I scrubbed it so hard. I actually am gonna let this pot dry out just a little bit. Okay, let's not try to get that off of there, I think. And I'll go ahead and do the green dots here. I'm going to take this, I think. Just try and fix my green a little bit. Really, really, really thick here. Okay. Okay, this one has some blue stuck in it. Here we go. Let's do this one. Nice. This one. Good. Okay. And if you allow these to dry in a timely manner, you won't have any of that problem going on. All right, so these guys, my green guys, okay, let's do this. I think this, yes. So, okay, so this pink one is going to be the size of an eraser at the bottom of your pencil. Okay, and so now these green are not entirely dry yet. So I'm going to say, let yours dry. I am going to go ahead and finish mine so that I can kind of finish the tutorial here. Okay, I'm going to try to be careful. Doing my green. This is coming out pretty good. 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 Okay, so look how pretty that is. Right, and like I said, let yours dry for a few minutes before you go ahead and do this. I'm having success here. This is working out okay. Thank goodness. Okay. All right, so here is my mandala. You can, again, you can go ahead and put some glitter on this. You can change the color scheme a little bit. I'm going to pick up the camera somewhat and show you that this is what you have created, or some facsimile of. All right, and here is this guy over here, and here's this one. All right, so side by side, they're almost the same size, but again, a little bit different, which is a-okay. And actually, before we go, let's do that top dot. Let's do that top dot. Okay, let's do the middle. The very first dot that we did should always be top dotted. Okay, see it there? It's just kind of very plainly sitting there, and it definitely wants to set the mood for the rest of the mandala. And I'm thinking white. I'm thinking white for that little guy. Let's try and see. On the original, we have gold and then silver on top of it. Okay, don't touch it. Yeah. But look, nice. Okay, so after that dries, absolutely, you could put a little silver on there. You could put little silver specks around the sides of that. There is no limit to what you can accomplish, what you can do. Okay, so I am going to tell you once again that I am Joni of Jones Art Gallery and a resident artist at Drake Council on Aging, and we are looking forward to seeing you both online and in person, okay, when the center opens back up. Right. If in fact you'd like to be on the center's newsletter, because they're still open for essential services like food, Meals on Wheels, I guess it's called, Meals on Wheels, any kind of essential services, they're still there, and the staff is actually back in the building, all right, which for a while they were not, no one was in the building, right, but they are actually back in the building, and again, they're an amazing group of people, and very helpful, and so on and so forth. So they send out a monthly newsletter, and so you can put your name on that emailing list by going to www.drakeit.org. I'm not sure I have that right. Look it up. Look it up. I'm sure that I have it somewhere. Something's beeping. Okay. But it's the Drake Council on Aging, and the Drake Council on Aging.org. So absolutely look it up. Have your name put on the email list, okay? And find out, find out when the center's reopening, find out where the tutorials are, and absolutely, if you have any questions, Jonissa at Comcast.net. All right, we wish you well. And Intuitive Body and Soul is a people first organization. You are not alone. So if you're feeling lonely, you need someone to talk to, contact us. We have all kinds of things going on, from meditations to numerology to painting mandalas and just about anything you can imagine. All right. So if you're feeling a little bit lonely, feeling a little bit down, reach out to me, reach out to the Drake Council on Aging. We're here and we're willing to help. And we have chosen to see the world as a friendly and abundant place. And we can help. We're a people first organization. Okay. So I am going to say good night. And again, I want to see you guys when the center reopens. Plus, I want to see you online. Leave me comments. Leave me messages. I care. Let me know. Okay? So I am going to end this tutorial as soon as I find the buttons, and wish you lots of love and lots of light, my dears. I am going to do that really soon, honest. There's an end button. Good night.